The way it works in court, a little bit of a legal breakout session, is if you have a temporary restraining order, which is only in place for a short amount of time, in this case, it's only in place for about 5 days, you wait until there's a preliminary injunction of one Hampton Dellinger, who ran in an emergency injunction and obtained a temporary restraining order from a federal court judge in the District of Columbia, at which time then the courts of appeal have jurisdiction. They generally don't have jurisdiction over temporary restraining orders.
I challenge you to find the part in the Supreme Court's ruling where they say a president can attempt a coup and face 0 consequences. Go ahead, I'll wait, because that's what Trump is claiming they said. The actual 75-page decision says something completely different. Even the court's conservative justices rejected Trump's most extreme immunity claims. So why is Trump celebrating like he just won the presidential immunity lottery? Let's compare his claims with reality. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. Can we talk about Trump's reaction to this ruling? Because wow. Just wow. The man is parading around like he won the Super Bowl, World Series, and got a lifetime supply of spray tan all in one day. After the Supreme Court handed down their decision, Trump immediately grabbed his phone and basically declared himself King of America. He didn't just claim victory, he claimed total and complete vindication, essentially telling the world he can now do absolutely anything as president without consequences.
It's not an office devoted to prosecution like Jack Smith's special counsel. It's a term of art being used for an organization that's responsible for things related to the enforcement of laws related to federal workers, an important position. But Donald Trump doesn't want Hampton Dellinger. He doesn't want independent watchdogs. He doesn't want anybody serving out a 5-year term on his watch. And so he fired him without cause. And the problem is, by firing him without cause, he violated the due process rights, overly qualified for the position. If you ever wanted an ethical, stand-up, trustworthy fellow or woman to take that position, you want somebody that looks and acts exactly like Hampton Dellinger.
It's like watching a kid who got told maybe later by his parents and runs around telling everyone they promised him a pony. Trump's interpretation of this ruling isn't just a stretch, it's a complete fantasy world where he's been granted magical immunity powers. Meanwhile, in reality, Chief Justice John Roberts, you know, the guy Trump thinks is on his team, wrote in black and white, "The president is not above the law." I mean, it doesn't get more direct than that. Roberts specifically stated, "The president enjoys no immunity for his unofficial acts." But Trump somehow read those words and heard, "You can do whatever you want, big guy." The disconnect between Trump's victory lap and what actually happened is beyond laughable. Even Justice Samuel Alito, no liberal by any stretch of the imagination, was asking some pretty uncomfortable questions during the oral argument.
The United States Supreme Court has just ruled against Donald Trump and his efforts to remove from office the head of the Office of Special Counsel, Hampton Dellinger, relatively well. He was appointed by President Biden, to serve out a 5-year term. He just got the appointment a couple of months ago to be the head of the Office of Special Counsel. That's a special creature. It's not what it sounds like. Both opposed Justice Roberts in allowing Hampton Dellinger to remain as the head of the Office of Special Counsel for at least 5 more days until the trial judge holds her hearing.
He straight up asked if a president could get away with staging a coup or selling nuclear secrets to foreign countries. That's not exactly the line of questioning you'd expect if the court was planning to hand Trump a blank immunity check. But don't tell that to Donnie. He's acting like the Supreme Court just crowned him emperor with a side of extra immunity sauce. If Trump's interpretation were correct, he could theoretically order Navy SEAL Team 6 to take out political opponents, command the military to storm CNN headquarters, or sell Alaska back to Russia for a good deal on a hotel in Moscow, all without any legal consequences. Let's apply what I'm calling the Trump immunity logic test here. If Trump thinks this ruling means he can do anything, then in his mind, could he also declare himself president for life? Turn the White House lawn into a golf course.
First stop on the train is Chief Justice Roberts. Why? But not just because he's the chief of the Supreme Court, but because any appeal that comes out of the DC, the Trump administration, by claiming that the Supreme Court has power under what is referred to as the All Writs Act. but that's very narrow an application. It doesn't apply to the facts of this case. Appellate courts goes firstly to Chief Justice Roberts on an emergency application. He could have denied this on his own, but he decided, I guess, anything related to Trump, he's going to throw it back to the entirety of the 9 justices of the panel.
Replace the entire FBI with his Mar-a-Lago club members? Make McDonald's the official White House caterer? Sell national parks to build Trump towers. The actual 6-3 decision from the Supreme Court creates a much more nuanced reality. They ruled that presidents have immunity for official acts related to their constitutional powers, but absolutely no immunity for unofficial acts. And now the lower courts have to sort through the messy process of determining which actions fall into which category. It's like Trump was handed a complex legal jigsaw puzzle and decided it was a get-out-of-jail-free card. The ruling doesn't give him blanket immunity. It creates a test that will determine which actions can be prosecuted. And spoiler alert, many of the actions related to January 6th could still very well land in the unofficial category. Think about it this way. The Supreme Court basically said, if the president orders troops to a dangerous area and people die, that's probably an official act and he's immune. If the president bribes someone or incites a mob, that's probably unofficial and he can be prosecuted. But Trump heard, do whatever you want, you beautiful orange man.
They believe in the unitary power of the president. Their comment, and I'll read you from aspects of it, their comment in their order was a president shouldn't be forced to work with somebody for even 5 days that they don't want to work for. Now, I know Hampton Dellinger reasonably well. I just happened to be wearing my Duke Law polo shirt today. I played pickup basketball with Hampton Dellinger at Duke. Let's hold this matter in abeyance until the 26th of February, when the trial court judge hears the entirety of the case and rules on their preliminary injunction.
The grumpy Trumpy interpretation of this ruling is so disconnected from reality that it would be hilarious if it weren't so concerning, because while the court didn't give him the golden immunity ticket he's bragging about, they did create enough gray area to potentially delay his trial significantly, possibly past the election, while Trump parades around like he just won the immunity Olympics. Let's get real, folks. All the Supreme Court actually did was kick the can down the road. The lower courts now get to play the fun game of official act or not, with each of Trump's actions leading up to January 6th. That's hardly the total victory our orange friend is bragging about. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson's dissent cuts through the noise, warning that this ruling threatens a model where every citizen, even presidents, faces equal consequences for criminal behavior. The delays this creates for Trump's trial are exactly what he wanted all along. Trump's victory dance is premature. He's celebrating winning the battle while completely missing that the war is far from over. So next time you see Trump strutting around like he's above the law, remember, the Supreme Court didn't crown him king, they just made the chess game more complicated.